Yeah, thank you, Todd, for offering me an opportunity to briefly speak about Monoko, the one-line haiku. I am Pravat Kumar Padhy from Odisha, India. With great pleasure, I wish to read some of my Monoko published in various journals. Melting away my pain, garden dew. In front of the mirror, I repeat myself. Snowfall, he hardens his words. Floating clouds, birds fly the other way. For all your denials, the smiling Buddha. A piece of chalk in my pocket, first day of retirement. Moonrise, the sky from the oncology wing. The moon behind the sinus, your crescent smile. Ink spots, the color of cleanliness. Autumn solitude, my footprints on the desert sand. Obituary column, messaging silence into the sky. The sound of silence into Shinto shrines. Google for a word full of twinkling stars. Bright sky, still holding half of the darkness. Thank you, Todd. At an early age of around 13 or 14, I composed proverbial poems, sort of monastic, while writing essays in my mother tongue Odia. Later on, I started writing poems of concise style, identical to haiku and tanka poems, in addition to the longer verses. In the volume edited by Atmaram on interviews with Indian writing in English 1992, I said, my inner urge comes near to the wombs of human beings, to the wonders of nature, to the wombs of reality. I candidly expressed, poems come to my mind as fragrance to the flower. Anything I see, it creates a symbolic frame in my mind. The beautiful nature, the mysterious celestial dance, tiny grass, gigantic tree, the spectrum of a living organisms, the silence of the desert, vastness of the sky, the softness of snow, tender smiles of the kids, etc., influence and inspire me. Indeed, I feel I am a medium to transcreate the treasure of the mystery of nature, grains of sand, and the silence of the cells. My passion for poetry can be well expressed when I write. I choose poetry, the power of feminism, the symbol of divinized muse, mingles with the gentle flow of a river, the calmness of the rising sun, to sound the resonance of silence. These poems are known as Monoko. Monoko is a one-liner poem with brevity and clarity in expression. Different people named Monoko as monastic, one-line ku, one-liner, etc. Haiku is written in 3 lines linking 2 images with a seasonal reference or kigo and with a pause or kireji in between. It is about complementing nature with human aspects. The art of Monoko largely dwells on the essence of human experience, nature, and logical credence. The simple observation of nature is reflected with a different dimension. These Monoko reflect the aesthetic characteristics of haiku, such as juxtaposition, depth, and mystery, contain space, becomingness, lightness, creativeness, elegance, simplicity, and metaphysical loneliness. In these monoku, the dynamic observations have been accomplished objectively with the touch of poetic insights. For example, of the monoku, the moon behind the shyness, your crescent smile. Here the crescent moon has been interpreted as a sublime smile. The remaining unseen part of the crescent moon has been poetically juxtaposed with shyness, that is, the delightful aspect of the beloved. Yeah. If I see a specific object, suddenly some poetic thoughts rush to my mind and I try to correlate it with the surrounding. Quite often human aspects and related issues appear in front of me. When I see a small grain of seed, I feel it is tiny because it nests with care the mightiest in it. I try to scribble on my notebook or a piece of paper. I sit for a while to give a shape to the poem, revise it once or twice to bring out the best. In monoku, the effectiveness of image is to be explored concisely. The monoku in its brevity can enliven the image with a different perspective. At times while composing haiku, I rearrange the words to express the images in the form of monoku instead of normal 3 lines poem of haiku. The theme, poetic imagery, clarity, musicality, and proper word phrases are some of the important aspects of writing poetry, any sort of poetry. The great poet Robert Frost said, poetry is when our emotion has found its thought and the thought has found words. Sometimes one breath monoku cannot be expressed in conventional 3 lines haiku. Hence, poet opts for monoku to portray the poetic images. There is a subtle pause in monoku corresponding to the speech rhythm. One can compose the classic monoku in an artistic way so that it exhibits different meaning when in different ways. This type of monoku is characterized by the presence of multiple pauses or kireji. This is perhaps unique in one-line writing with liberty of white space that a reader can put more than once to evolve different interpretations by switching the different syntactic elements. Monoku can be blended with the infusion of allegorical characters within the broad framework of aesthetic haiku elements like a reference to nature, creativeness, art of juxtaposition of images, etc. Less telling is more important in haiku and monoku writings. One need not be too philosophical or need to refrain from using various adjectives, metaphors, and similes. Haiku or monoku is not a sentence. One should not relate the cause and effect while composing haiku or monoku. The use of effective word, sense reversal, use of gerund, words with correlative images, artful play of verb versus noun, subtle way of use of relative clause, an image within an image in a linked sense, overlapping of words, etc. are different techniques of monoku writing. The poem needs to spread fragrance for the readers to explore the flower. It should have literary values in its simplicity, clarity, freshness, and content. Lastly, one has to be honest in his or her approach to literature. Chanting of verse has been in practice since time immemorial. The art of reading out poems to the audience is an important craftsmanship. It is better to brief the theme of the poem or the monoku, but not to unveil everything. The pause, the internal rhythm, and proper stressing of the words need to be precisely followed. As the monoku is one poem with subtle pause. One has to read it with fluency and clarity. The audience needs to be given a dreaming room to correlate and accomplish the essence and ecstasy of the poem. Yeah, thank you. I wish to cite the Monaco that has been published in the Heroine's Nest, volume 21, number 3 in 2019. The Monaco is the zero shadow moment I am within myself. If we see in general, this Monaco is about the scientific observation, but on deep interpretation, it unveils the art of mystery or illusion and a Zen feeling. I wish to place the comments given by poet Nicholas Klaxenzik in his haiku commentary column. He says, as with most fine one-line haiku, the poem can be read in several ways. The zero shadow moment I am with myself. The zero shadow moment I am with myself. The zero shadow moment I am with myself. This poem is like a realization that one is truly alone and with oneself. I do not get a sense that this haiku is about loneliness, though. It is more about observing who you are fully without any impediment. I can't say that this Monaco has a kigo, though it is indicative of noon. In my imagination, I see this haiku taking place in either summer or spring. Looking at this haiku technically, I enjoy the originality of zero shadow, the length and rhythm of the line and the sound which was aptly mentioned by poet Hifsa Ashraf in her comment. Overall, I enjoyed this one-line haiku for its ability to put the reader in the state expressed, which is the state of the total observation of the self. I have written a lot of free verse, haiku, tanka, etc. It becomes difficult to choose one, but I wish to cite one of my poems, How Beautiful, published way back on 9th July 1983 in one of the leading English newspaper, the Indian Express. The poem How Beautiful is included amongst the other poems and articles by notable literary luminaries, namely Rabindranath Tagore, E.F. Shumchar, Martin Luther King, Sundaram, Iftikhar Hussain Rizvi. As a part of the undergraduate English curriculum 2018 at the university level in India, in the state of Maharashtra in India, Professor G.D. Ingle comments, P.K. Padhy's poetry is experimental and known for simplicity of expression and its presentation. Romantic expression is another characteristic of his poetry. In the poem How Beautiful, in addition to these features, his inclination towards spiritual and metaphysical dimension of life could also be seen. The poem presents the poet's idea of a perfect world. I wish to read out the poem How Beautiful. If birds could talk, trees could walk with us, flowers could express their cause of smile, spring could speak its desire and meaning of songs to the rocks, waves could stop for a while so that we could have some words with them, silence could spell out its aim of being a saint, past could return and open its petals afresh, graveyard could wake up after the sunrise and chat with us. Actually, I did my undergraduation in applied geology from Indian Institute of Technology, ISM Dhanbad. I was an explorationist in petroleum organization, that is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. It is a state-run organization in India, and I am just retired, and I am devoting some time towards literature. And recently, you would be glad to know that I have written one scientific article on the geology of Mars. It will be published this year in USA.